how's it going? You guys can't hear music, right? Yo, yeah, for some reason the OBS won't pick up my desktop audio suddenly for some reason, which is always fun. So, no music today, unfortunately, until I figure it out. But you guys can hear my voice, alright? Yeah? Alright, cool. At least you can hear my voice, I think that's the main thing. Yo, I'll be back in a sec, and then we'll start. Yo, how's it going? Alright, we'll start some modeling. Let's see. So, yeah. Yo, how's it going? Okay, so, we've kind of got the basic stuff blocked out. So I was thinking of bringing my kit in, and I'll probably start some kit bashing stuff. But you'll notice, like, with the kit, it'll mainly be like filling gaps and addressing stuff that's not in the concept. Like inside here, I might just quickly steal this thing here. Um, this one's pretty cool. This stuff's all kind of temp for now. Like, we can replace it later if we need to. It's more just like filling the gaps at this point. Well, it's huge. Hmm. Oh, you mean like combine like this? Yeah, because there's no need to like organize mechanical stuff when you've already got it done for you pretty much. I mean, this is super temp. Like, we're gonna delete and change and move stuff, but this is good enough for now. Let's take an engine. Yeah, the kit I'm using is the sub D production kit because I was thinking of maybe texturing this thing eventually. So I'd rather use something that already has UVs. Maybe not. No, let's just do one. Ah, damn Maya. Maya's not rotating. Maya's rotation is failing. No, I would never use my kit at work. Because yeah, if I use it at work, then they own it, which is not good. Now this is just for my personal stuff. But yeah, what I'm doing now is super temp. Like, we're not gonna keep this. Oh, we'll keep elements of it. Yo, how's it going? Oh, that was an engine itself. Oh, that engine's kind of cooler actually. Hmm. No, actually, I like this one. It's a cool engine. Um, I designed them, but they're based on real things. Like, like this thing here is pretty cool. But what this is actually just an air conditioner, like you'll see on the wall. Same with Oh no, I don't have any more. Oh yeah, this is an aircon as well. But I mean, you know, you can turn it into whatever you want. Sometimes, like if I watch like anime and stuff like that, I'll find some random obscure thing and think that's really cool. I'll build that, and that's part of my kit. Like I saw this thing when I was watching Cowboy Bebop, and then I just built it myself. Yo, thanks, appreciate it. But yeah, I usually design the pieces myself, but they take obviously heavy inspiration from real stuff. Oh, we can totally just steal this thing. Like honestly, this is the main thing to like modeling in general, is model the least that you can. Let's just stick this here. Yeah, you save so much time by simply just doing this. Oh yeah, people are coming in now. So yeah, there's no music or anything because OBS won't pick up my audio for some reason. But the mic still works, and that's the main thing. What else we got here? That's kind of cool. This is kind of one of the things I like about having like, so the concept itself is, where is it? It's quite loose as far as we have no idea what's behind here, underneath here. Oh, actually we do a bit. But we can kind of make up a lot of this stuff with kitbashing, which is very handy. You have to listen to my voice, unfortunately. Oh shit, wrong way. Why is it so broken? Penetrates, but we'll deal with that later. These sorts of things are always cool. When you kitbash, it's always cool to have like big elements that people can recognize. That's why I like having like this circle here instead of just constant pipes. So yeah, what I'm doing is kind of temp, but it'll make sense eventually. Mm. Mm. I'd like to fill these gaps with something. What's the concept got? Oh yeah, the concept doesn't really offer us anything, so we can put whatever we want in there, which is cool. Oops. So we're still going to build this stuff like you see in the concept, but this is more for like what's behind it. Actually, that doesn't work at all. We'll deal with that later. Will I make some Easter eggs on this? What do you mean? What I'm doing now is I'm just putting all the kitbash stuff I've used. I'm going to put them into their own group, so I know what is my kitbash stuff. Oh really? I didn't even notice that. Alright, that's enough of that stuff for now. What I'm thinking of doing for this one is, usually this colored, like the paint, I wouldn't really make that a separate panel, but I don't know if I'm going to texture this properly, so I might cut this as its own sort of panel. Usually like a texturizer could just texture this on, but I don't know if I can be bothered that much with my texturing, so I might just cut this as its own panel so I can apply just different shaders to that sort of stuff. It's like a little flap, yeah. Okay. Hey, how's it going? I don't know. I want to learn Octane, so maybe I might use that. If I don't use Octane, I'll probably just use Keyshot though. Oops. Yeah, it's been a while since I've rendered something at home, to be honest. Okay, so I want to split the top and the bottom of this wing so I can work on them individually. Where should we draw the line? There's a line there. Oh yeah. Oh no, I kitbash a lot at ILM. I mean, it's not even an ILM thing. It's just a general modeling thing. The amount of time you can save is really important. Is there a cut there? Okay. Yeah, honestly, kitbash as much as you can is very important. Like if you need to make a car, like take a tire from somewhere else. Oops. Cool. Alright, what I want to do is I want to split this wing off. I might just do it here for now and change it later maybe. What's it doing? Usually there's parts that just get shared around. Like, yeah, usually there's like libraries of vehicles and stuff like that. But a lot of people, like I have my own kit sometimes as well. Like I might save, if I'm working on an asset that has custom made pieces that aren't available to anyone else, I'll just save those separately and have that as my own file. Oops. Okay, so where's this cut? And here. Yeah, the assets are always shared. It's very normal. Yeah, there's, I mean, companies wouldn't want to pay to have the same asset made like 4 times. It can get a bit difficult because sometimes like a company will make an asset, they'll send a work in progress to another company, and then the model changes, and then it's a constant back and forth between a lot of the studios. And it gets even more confusing, well not confusing, but worse when, say for example, a company uses creasing but the other company doesn't, because then they have to, there's a lot of times where we'll get an asset from another company and we'll have to modify it to work in our pipeline. That's a pretty normal thing. But no, I mean, the studios won't want to pay to make the same asset multiple times. And hmm. No, I didn't realize it was actually a sharp edge here. Whoops. Um, Okay, cool. So I've got this basic block in Geo, and I got rid of the bottom, well, I separated it so I can focus on just drawing the panels on the top. Um, it's personal preference really. Like, I know with multi-cut you can hold control and start doing this stuff, but I'm so used to the habit of just quickly flicking down like that to get the edge loop tool. It's totally a personal preference. I don't think it actually makes any difference at all. It's just habit for me. Okay, let's make this nice and clean. Like that or a circle? Okay. You also notice when I'm like retopologizing stuff, I'm not actually like moving verts, I'm drawing a new line and then deleting the old one to keep it consistent. Like the overall shape consistent. Don't need this one. Alright, cool. Now I'll start properly like drawing panels in. Is that the only one? Alright, cool. God, it's a bit hard to see, isn't it? Oh, it's not a script, it's really simple. If you, let's see. If you go up here to select using constraints, and then you go next selection, and then you go to face mode. Oh, that's edge mode. Face mode, like this. You can select next side, no, next selection end-sided. Oops, that's off the screen, isn't it? And then when you do a selection, if there's any n-gons, it'll select them for you. It's pretty, oh yeah, someone already said that. But yeah, that's it. It's select using constraints. I usually do that at the end, like after I finish the model, I'll select the whole asset and do that, and then find any like n-gons that are left over. It doesn't look good. Yeah, it's a handy little trick I have. Okay, so I'm going to literally trace this red thing. Since it kind of flows the general shape of the wing anyway, this won't be too bad. But you can't just draw on top of the concept like I'm doing, you have to look at what it actually looks like in 3D though. Like, see how this line doesn't really match that line? Oh, but it goes with this one, doesn't it? No, I'm going to change that slightly. Oh yeah, the select using constraint thing is great. I use it all the time. Because a lot of time, when you check in an asset, oh shit, too far. When you check in an asset, they usually have to go through a checker, which picks up n-gons. So it's nice when you have a nice clean check-in. Oops. This is kind of annoying. So if you select a tool here, it won't actually transfer over to what you've done on your other window, you have to open the tool here, which is a bit dumb to me. Yo, how's it going? Yeah, I thought I'd stream on Saturdays as well, so people that can't catch the Wednesday stream can hang out for a bit. Yeah, time zones are a pain in the ass. Yo, it's cool people from Europe can finally check in. I'm going to Denmark in a few weeks actually, so that should be pretty cool. So, oh god. Am I ever coming back to London? I don't know. To be honest, like there's definitely places I'd like to work. Like I wouldn't mind going to Ireland, London, but living in London is a problem. Like living in Vancouver is a really nice city, to be honest. It's a really good balance of work and, you know, outside of work life. Where unfortunately, well, when I was in London, I was working non-stop, and just cost of living is insane. I mean, when I was in London, I was really low paid, so it was hard to live in London. I know things might be different now, but I don't know. I like Vancouver. A lot of people I've worked with in London have come to Vancouver and then they just never left. Oops. Fuck yeah. London is ridiculous. It's not that I don't know if it's that it costs more, but you get way more for what you're paying like for in Vancouver. No, London depends. London has really good work, and I'm definitely grateful for my time I spent in London. But after I went to Vancouver, I was like, damn, there's more to work. There's more than like just work in life. But London, yeah, London was a really good place to start my career. Tips to learn CG modeling. Um, that's a very, very general question. I guess a very general answer is don't stop. It takes a lot of time. It really look at the world around you. And it's just practice. Like the amount of times I like would work on a project and then just drop it because it wasn't good enough, stuff like that. Like modeling is a really technical thing. It's more than just being able to visually look at it. Like it's also more than just topology as well. Cardiff. I don't even know where Cardiff is, to be honest. What's Cardiff? Oh, Wales. Never been to Wales. Yo, give me a sec. Yo, how's it going? Hmm. Yeah, it's slowly getting there. Unfortunately, it feels like it's gonna take some time. But let's see. Usually I would say like if I was to make this full time and to the level I want to go to, it'll take me maybe a month. So that's what's that? Maybe 28-hour days. But for me to actually do that on the stream, it's gonna take quite a while. Am I using ZBrush? I don't usually use ZBrush that much because I'm not good with it. I don't really know it that well. But for what I usually do at work is I very rarely need to. Mostly what I do at work is just polygon modeling. I mean, I use ZBrush if I have to, but usually I'd rather avoid it. Alright, let's see. What I'm doing now is I'm just going to apply a shader to the panels so I know where they are. Oops, wrong one. It's like a white. Actually, just delete the other side. We don't really need it. Yo, how's it going? Um, I watch tutorials on the basics of Maya and like just to learn the basics of the program, but I never really watched tutorials on specifically how to model. It usually came through like trial and error, which is probably not the best thing, to be honest. I think, yeah, getting feedback on your topology is usually probably the easiest and most direct way. What do I call this? When yeah, you got to be careful with tutorials as well, because a lot of them will you don't really know the quality of the tutorial or the artist that made it. Like especially just finding like a random tutorial on YouTube, it might not be too good. But I don't know, if you pay for a tutorial, like something like from Noman or something, it would probably be pretty good. How long did it take you to break an industry? It took me a while. Let's see. I've told this story so many times in the stream already, but I might as well do it again. So like I studied graphic design, so I self-taught myself 3D, and I spent a year doing that, and I made a portfolio, and then I sent it to like 90 studios around the world. Heard back from no one. Sent it. I redid my portfolio in 3 months and applied it to. Oh no, it's still good. I'll say it. And sent it to 130 this time, and still no one got back to me. So I just randomly moved myself to London to try and get into the industry. And let's see. Yeah, I eventually got in as a runner, like cleaning kitchens and stuff like that. And then after 3 months of that, I hassled them. I hassled them for 3 months until they picked me up as a modeler. So the process of like actually looking for a job, maybe 6 months. But I got pretty fortunate. Like it's really hard to break into the industry. Like that's the reality. It's probably the hardest you'll have to work, but once you get in, you're set pretty much. What am I doing? Yeah, but it's just persistence. Like everyone will get in eventually if they work hard. Like that's the reality. There's plenty of people that just walk into the industry that necessarily don't deserve it. Like I mean, not that they don't deserve it, but there's definitely people that work harder. But everyone's different. Everyone has a completely different path. Just the main thing is you have to work hard and be patient. That's definitely the main thing. Like don't expect to go to school and then just pop out and then ILM gives you a job. Oh shit. Yeah, it's hard. The way I got in was I happened to meet a guy. Fuck, how did this happen? So there was a guy who was the nephew of one of my lecturers when I studied graphic design, and I emailed him saying, just asking for some feedback, and then he said if I ever swing by London, we'll catch up. So I caught up with him like 1 year later in London, and then he invited me to lunch with a friend who happened to work in HR and NPC, and she got me the interview as a runner. So I know it sounds bad, but connections is also a pretty big thing. But yeah, it's tough. But don't give up. Like, just make sure you keep doing your personal work, keep pushing. Oh shit. That's definitely the main thing. Persistence is a big deal. Yeah, sure. I mean, we can claim anything as lucky, to be honest. Like, I know I've worked my ass off my entire career, but I got lucky. at some points. Like, yeah, being skilled is definitely a good thing though. I don't know, I think it also comes down to your passion and hard work. Like people will know, like when I was at NPC I got given a lot of really good work, but I was really vocal about it and I was really passionate about the type of work I did, so I ended up getting a decent amount of good work. You can't just sit there and expect things to happen to you. You definitely have to work hard, and you'd be surprised things will just start working out for you. And it's not like everything worked out for me like constantly, but if you work hard, good things will happen eventually. Like it was really frustrating when I first got in as a runner, and it just looked like they were never going to pick me up as a modeler. So that hit me kind of hard, but then I just keep pushing and pushing, and then finally they're like, okay, fine, we'll give you a shot as a modeler. Where I could have simply just like given up, and I wouldn't be here where I am today. Oh shit. Oh, a runner is like a it's not everywhere. It's something they do in London where you clean the kitchens, you serve clients coffee, what else do you do? Yeah, you run drives between the studios. It's pretty much like a they do the running around for the studio pretty much. That's why they're called runners. It's not the most fun job, but honestly, like it was how I got into the industry, and I thought that was the most amazing thing ever at that point. I was so happy to be a runner. But yeah, just because I got in as a runner doesn't mean that's the way to go for everyone. No, it's not artistic. It's entirely running around for people. But the main thing for me was it was a foot in the door, so I could start talking to people, and that's the most important thing. That's what you really need. You just need a foot in the door. Oh, really? I don't know. I haven't seen too many interns, to be honest. I remember we had an intern at NPC for a few weeks, but like I haven't seen any interns at ILM or Method or anything like that. Oh, seriously, when I was a runner though, some of the artists were pretty bad. Like, so we had to go to their desks and pick up their coffee mugs at 4 o'clock every day. I don't personally agree with that. I think it's kind of dumb. Like, it makes the artist really lazy. And there were some people that would have like 6 coffee mugs and like their lunch and yesterday's dinner sitting on their desk, like the plates. And I would literally just go up and just walk past them. I wouldn't even bother picking up their stuff. What's the title of Blade Runner? I don't know, I never really thought about the title of Blade Runner. What are we doing? Oh shit. Oh. Is that a line here? Oh, it is. Whoops. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I would like pick up the mugs from everyone around them, and then just walk past them, and then pick up the other people's mugs, and then they got the point. Yeah, when you're an artist and if you have runners in your studio, don't be lazy. Take your shit to the kitchen. I don't know. I can't imagine just working with like 6 mugs on my desk as well. It just feels so untidy. Is that okay? Yeah, how many people do we have on the stream at the moment? Oh yeah, we need dual monitors. It's yeah, I can't work without dual monitors to be honest. What I've actually got at the moment at home is I've got an ultra wide monitor. So I've actually got one monitor, but it's two. So what you're actually looking at the moment is only about half of my screen. Like the chat is sitting off here to the side and all that sort of stuff. $24? Nice. Yeah, I don't know how you can work with a single monitor because there's so many times we need to look, like, we constantly have to have reference up. Oops. Like reference of the set, or like if I'm building, like for example, this aircraft I'm building at the moment, I'm not really looking at reference because we can get away with the concept for most of it. If I want to do something specific, like if I want to build an engine and I didn't have one, I would obviously look online for what real engines look like and I'd base it off that. God, 2 ultra monitors. That's a bit too much. Yeah, Sandy, is that you? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'll show you all a pretty cool trick. If you've got like things like this where the verts are pretty consistent amongst the things, you can select the faces and then you can go, where is it? You can mesh triangulate and then you go mesh quadrangulate, and it will usually work out where the polygon flow should be. But what I've got is I've actually got two hotkeys set up right next to each other. So I've got triangulate, then quadrangulate. So I can just tap both and get the modeling done instantly, which is pretty handy, instead of like manually drawing the lines. Thanks. Oh yeah, so yeah, all this stuff here, it's all kitbash. I've got my kit sitting here. This is the one I sell on my Gumroad, the production ready one. So like, the reason I'm using this one is because obviously all the UVs are all done, all good to go. Because if I do want to texture this thing, I won't have to worry about doing UVs. It's all good. Where is it? Oh, yeah. But yeah, this stuff's on my Gumroad if anyone wants it. But I use it all the time for like all of this. Actually, where is it? That's center. Yeah, all of this is just kitbash so far. It's just to like I really like kitbashing because it does it kind of gives you not hope in the model, but it fills in the blanks. You can go back and replace stuff later, but it definitely boosts your confidence in it. Like we had these little antennas at the front, but I don't even have to build them now because I can just steal some from an existing model. What are these flaps? Maybe. So yeah, what we're doing at the moment is we're just blocking in a lot of the paneling. Yo, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. So what I'm doing now is, even though I kind of followed the concept drawing the panels, I want my panels to line up better, if that makes sense. Like it may have looked all good drawing from that angle, but because I was drawing on an angle, the lines are a bit weird. But with hard surface stuff in general, everything usually will flow intentionally parallel to each other. Oops. This is usually when I'll make like a creative change to what the concept is. It's still the basic idea of the concept, but it just works better in 3D space. Like here's an example where I'd want to change it really slightly. But what I'm doing is I'm applying what's it called? I'm applying shaders just to the main panel so I can see where they are at the moment. Have I thought of being a hard surface modeler forever? I don't know. I don't think anything lasts forever. Who knows? Like 20 years from now, this job might not exist. I don't know. I've always thought maybe going into concept one day or something, but definitely hard surface is definitely what I'm interested in. Yeah, they're pretty different, I think. I mean, it's not like you can't make a transition between them, but I guess for usually animation has a specific style, where film is always about photorealism, and that's really what I enjoy, the photorealism side, not the animated side. Oh shit, let's not do that. Yeah, this depends what you want to do. But as far as like the technical aspect goes, I don't think there's really any difference. I mean, you're still modeling the same. The only time there's difference is if you work in like games, and then obviously you've got your game limitations then. But I assume for animation it's the same as film. But yeah, definitely if you want to get into animation, your portfolio should be tailored for animation. Like I don't know, it would be weird for me to apply for animation because all I've got is like spaceships and stuff. Especially if it's something like I don't know, Pixar or something. Like my portfolio, like my personal work and my film work doesn't really, yeah, doesn't really sit well with the Pixar look. Just like if you want to go to Blizzard or something, I assume you'll have to tailor your portfolio to be very Blizzard-like. But I don't know, maybe going to cinematics wouldn't be too bad for a film person. Because their cinematics lean on realism as well. Oops. Oh yeah? Sick. Yeah, definitely do whatever you feel like. I love spaceships, so I work in film. That's pretty much it. I mean, I used to be a pretty big gamer, and I didn't really care about movies. I mean, personally, I still don't really care that much about movies. But the reason I went mainly for film is because, like, polygon count and stuff like that used to be a real limit for games. But, you know, with new games now, they're getting pretty crazy. So who knows, maybe I could end up going to games one day. For now, though, I'm pretty happy with film. Oh, it depends what we're doing. Like, they might not scan a spaceship, but say for example they filmed a cockpit on set, they would have a scan of the set of the cockpit. So then I would have to tailor my model to make sure it fits in with their scan. That is always like a deciding factor. Like there's plenty of times where we'll build a spaceship or something without a scan, like just as a concept. And then turns out they filmed something on set and we have to completely modify ours to match theirs, because since we have to match to a plate, the scan will always take priority over whatever we make. But yeah, there's times where like they did that with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like the cockpits are real, like they filmed the cockpits on set, and we built the spaceships around them. And then when they change the cockpit or anything like that, we have to then modify our spaceship to match theirs. Um, Not really. There's been times where this has happened before. So they've built a set of a cockpit, and then they want to film the camera panning from the cockpit to a section of the plane. But then, obviously, they didn't build the rest of the plane on set, so we had to give them the measurements of how far away the object was for the camera to pan and look at it, and then it's just replaced with CG later. That's the only time we'll ever have anything to do with being on set. It's just if they need to look at something that's CG of ours. But I mean, like, because what we're doing is not, we're not, it's like, it's not physically based. We kind of cheat a lot of stuff. So it's very unlikely they'll take one of our things and make it on set. It's always the other way. What are we doing? You know, I like doing both. I like modeling from set, and I like modeling stuff like this. Sometimes it's nice just to not have to think and just make the model. Like with this on, I'll have to completely design the bottom, which is going to take a decent amount of work. Oh yeah, totally. So, like really large spaceships, like, I didn't build it, but like for example, the Supremacy from Episode 8, there's no way you can make such a massive asset as one model. So it's broken up into chunks and like brought together at render time. Whereas something like this, I can just build this as it is pretty much. I don't know if I can talk specifically about ILM, about what they do, but to be honest, it's all the same in every studio, so I can talk in a general thing. Like, the only thing that's changed from me working at like MPC, ILM, and Method is at some studios the texture artist does UVs and at some the modeler does UVs. Aside from that, it's always been the same thing. Yeah, I'm really specialized. I don't texture. I don't even make characters, just hard surface. Yeah, usually in film, we're very specialized. Like it's even people that can do modeling and texturing will usually just do one or the other. It depends though. If you're in a smaller studio, you might do both. But in like the main studios, it's always split. Oops. Oh yeah, I'll do stuff like that. Like I've made transformers and stuff. But I'll never do anything organic. The thing is, like, there's so many character artists out there, like really good ones, and so many people that want to do characters that even if I did want to do characters, I'd be pretty low on the list. That's why I think it's really cool having a niche like hard surface, is because it's actually quite hard to find really good hard surface modelers. So if you become known as a really good hard surface modeler, you're pretty safe career-wise, and you can get a lot of really cool work. Same with things like Groom. Like, no one really wants, oh, not like no one wants to do Groom, but not many people want to do Groom. So if you're a good groomer, you're pretty set. You'll always find work. People are always looking for good Groom artists. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm still drawing in the panels, but now I've got more of the panel shapes laid out. I'm starting to connect them properly, so when I split them, they will all properly line up with each other. Oops. Yo, how's it going? It depends on studio as well. Like some studios work in feet and some work in meters. But usually it's about, I think, 100 times smaller or 10. It's either 100 times smaller or 10 times smaller. It depends on the studio though. Like if you're working in feet, then it's like, I don't know, 30.2 something times smaller or something like that. But usually like when you get a scan, they'll usually scan, or they'll usually include a 1 meter cube with their scan. So usually you can just create your own cube, line up your cube with their cube, and you'll be in the right scale. Because usually in a studio, oh shit, a cube will represent a 1 meter cube, like just a default 1 by 1 by 1. Oh, where's my spaceship gone? There it is. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they use feet, to be honest. Oops, that goes here. Yeah, this episode will be a lot of drawing vertex, or drawing lines. But this is pretty much what our job is, to be honest. Oh, every studio will have their own render farm. They have to. It's not physically possible to produce the work we need to without a render farm. They're always off-site though. Like, even if I was to do my own animation, I would probably use an online render. Oh, what am I drawing lines for? At the moment I'm just drawing the panels, and now I'm kind of connecting them and dealing with the topology better. Like, I'm not going to be triple edging or anything like that soon. It's still just, it's kind of the next stage of blocking out. So before we blocked out the overall forms, and now the overall forms are pretty cool. We're blocking out the inner forms, and then we'll do the nice topology on that. But I'm kind of cleaning things as I go. Like, I can see that should link to that and that sort of stuff. But it's still kind of messy. Like, it's fine though. I might make these different colors just so I can remember that these are pretty significant panels as well. But it looks a bit weird. Alright, we'll modify this one. Like, even though I've drawn straight on the concept, it's always good to look at how it actually looks like. Like, I want this and this to line up with each other better. Oh, you did? Sick. You already did it, or before? What time did I start? Oh shit, it's already been an hour. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I started at 2:30, I think. There's audio problems, which is why I started half an hour late. Like, that's why I have no music at the moment. For some reason, OBS won't pick up my desktop audio now, even though I changed nothing, but I'll sort that out later. Actually, I might change this into panels now, just so it's a bit more interesting, and we're not just doing the same thing over and over. Hmm. Yeah. This is pretty much how I make panels. I just split it off into individual sections, and I deal with the topology. Oh, whoops. That should be there. I should probably need that one. Oh yeah, I never talked about time to render. Yeah, it completely depends on what you're rendering. You can't physically put a number on it. Depends what render engine you're using, all that sort of stuff. $16K maps. Damn. Usually they're 4K. And rarely 8K. I don't know if anyone actually uses 16K maps. Yeah, I think Mari in general deals with more UDIMs and lower resolution. Like usually, I don't know, if we were to make this like texture the spaceship, maybe it would be like, if it was really close, we would use maybe 60 UDIMs. Oh, you mean using the triple edge and then fixing it afterwards? Yeah, it's usually what I use. If it only works if you've done the decent topology before you do it, because if you try triple edge something and your topology flow isn't good, it's not going to go the whole line. Straighten this stuff out. It's kind of annoying. Let's see. Might do this. Oh, it didn't work. Whoops. Oh, that happens all the time. There's many times I've worked on an asset that's just not been used. And it's pretty normal to like think, oh, I'm going to see the asset this close, and then turns out the shot gets cut. That stuff's pretty normal. Oh, that's going to be annoying, this one. Oops. Oh, 60 UDIMs is nothing. Like, I've seen things with like 200 UDIMs. I see, this can go here instead. Wait, 1, 2, 3. No, that's 5. Whoops. No, shit. Alright. Let's do this. Damn, the sharp angles on this thing is really annoying. No, let's scrap all that. Oh, UDIMs is pretty much fundamental in film. If you want texture. Okay, let's do this instead. My team has maybe 4, including me. Oh. Yeah, there's maybe 4 of us. Let's just alter this one. Have you ever had this bug in Maya where the multi-cut bugs as your default cursor? So even though I've got, I don't know, multi-cut activated, it's still there. How do we get rid of this? Even insert edge loop is now multi-cut. Oh, it sucks. Oh, okay, now it's so good. Oh. Documentation of my shortcuts. Oh shit. I mean, I can give you my shortcuts, but the thing is, they're all custom made, a lot of them. So you have to manually make them yourself. I mean, I can physically show you them. Where's my art station? Oh. Let's bring this thing over here. Whoops. Okay, well all the menus I use are here. And I've literally drawn the main ones I use. And there's whatever the buttons are here. Oh, that's my hotkeys. Let's actually go to that block, that's probably easier. Which one is it? 2. Yeah, so these are the main things I use. All the ones that are in blue. And you can see at the top here, this is where they're located. But usually I don't actually use the menu, these are just where the tools are located. Usually I hotkey everything. But these are the sub-menus I use. Oh, here we go. Here's my hotkeys. I mean, these are my manual hotkeys. You have to set this up yourself if you want. Everything that's green are the ones that I've manually set myself. So the black ones are all by default. And then I've got like, yeah, whatever the letters or numbers are here, and then I've got standard, control, shift, alt, control, shift, alt, shift. But yeah, you can check the stuff on my blog if you want. I'll just put it here. Close that. Yeah, drawing the topology on these really sharp angles is kind of annoying. Because you don't really want faces that are kind of like negative or anything like that. Yeah, don't have negative faces. Alright, cool. Once I'm kind of happy with the topology, I mean it's okay, it's not the best topology ever, but I select the panels and then I just extrude, and we'll extrude them down, I don't know, that's far enough. And then depending on what you're doing, if this is something that's going to be broken in effects, you would leave the bottom face, but I'm not going to bother with that, so I'll just delete the bottom. And then you have to invert the normals. Where's reverse? Boom. And then once you do this, you still have to triple edge the side. But if you do your topology correctly, this is pretty simple. Oh, it's different height. That's interesting. Cool, there's our panel. Oh, I didn't triple edge this one. Whoops. Cool, so yeah, that's our panel. We can just leave that now. But what I like doing is I just leave it unsmooth, because if it's subdivided, well, if the preview smooth is on, it just slows down your machine. But what we can do is, now that we've got triple edges, if we go to edge mode and we soften the edges, it'll represent where the bevel is, which is really cool. Does everyone know about the normals thing? Like how if you have something like this and you soften them, it looks like this. But if you have edges close to the edge, well, you end up with this fake bevel on the end. So even though it's not smoothed, it looks visually like it's smoothed, but it's actually just not. Which is really handy because you can view your panels at all times without actually having them smooth now. Oh, like when we've finished the model, it will look like this. Like we check in this, it's not going to be subdivided or anything like that. It will subdivide at render time. Because if we manually smooth this and then check this in, and then somehow we have to do changes to this, it's going to be such a pain in the ass. So we usually check that in. Oh, you pre-smooth it? Yeah, don't pre-smooth it. I mean, it depends. If you're doing, it depends what you're doing. But the thing is, yeah, if it's pre-smoothed, you can't really change it or work on it that much. It won't physically make a difference. It's still going to have to render this, whatever the polygon count is of this being subdivided. But yeah, it just, so for example, an animator picks this model up. Can you imagine if the mesh was already subdivided and the animator had to animate like a 30 million poly spaceship, or they can just animate a 1 million poly spaceship instead. And also, like, it's so standard for us to have to do modifications and changes in film, like after the asset's already done. So if it's already pre-smoothed, it's just so much harder to actually change. So good. I mean, you can't really find this stuff out until you're actually in the studio. There's so many things you don't really learn until you're physically in the studio. Like working in a pipeline is completely different to working by yourself. Yo, thanks for the subscription. I don't know how this thing works. I just set it up yesterday. Oops. Oh, okay, cool. Emotes. Damn. Oh yeah? Sick. Yo, sick. Thanks for the subscriptions. How does this thing actually work? Like, is it a paid thing? I don't know. I've never subscribed to someone. Oh, sick. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, maybe I could do some like sub-based stuff, like portfolio reviews for subscribers, stuff like that. Discord servers. I haven't looked into Discord either. Yeah, definitely gotta support the people that support me. Oh shit, what'd I do? Oh. Before the holding edges, what do you mean? Oh, which part are you talking about? Are you talking about how I merged here? Mm. It's because like if I didn't merge there first, I would do this and then have to merge afterwards, so it didn't really change anything. Yo, Sandy, you're still here. Sick, thanks. Oh, the one on the borders. Wait, these ones? Okay, I'm just gonna delete this edge anyway. That's a bit weird. Oh. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to do a stream now as well. So, yeah, because yeah, a lot of people can't make the the weekday stream. So if I do it now and Wednesday at 8 p.m. for me, it kind of, I guess, covers both time zones. Oh, I didn't finish this one. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, time zones are a pain in the ass. Oops. It's good to add curves every now and then instead of having just everything really blocky and rigid, or it just looks a bit too CG. Generalists? Depends. You mean like generalists at ILM or just generalists and generalists in general? Yo, how's it going? ILM? Alright. So yeah, generalists at ILM are, they're the environment team pretty much that you'd see in any other studio, except they do more than just environment. Well, they focus on environment, but they can do more, like comp and stuff like that. They're really good. Like to get into the ILM Gen team, you have to be pretty damn good at your job. They're definitely some of the best artists I know. Is there anything like particularly you want to know about the generalists, or? Yep, give me a sec. Favorite that I watched and worked on? Um, to be honest, most of the movies I work on are usually pretty bad. Like, they have the best visual effects, but they're terrible movies. The one that was most fun to work on, but also ended up being a pretty decent film, was the first Guardians of the Galaxy. That would have to be my favorite that I've worked on, I guess. It was also my first job in the film industry as well, so it has that extra weight attached to it. I know I always say you should have triangles, but there's no way of really doing this without triangle. But that's alright, it's fine. Like, usually when I say, like, no triangles at all, it's not necessarily that that's a real clear rule. It's more about, like, especially when you're learning, it's good to not build bad habits and be lazy. Because if you have a supervisor which is really picky, you could be shooting yourself in the foot, especially if you're just starting out. No. Yeah, studios usually don't help you. Like, they'll provide accommodation for like 2 weeks. That's a pretty normal thing. Like, most studios will do that. But usually you'll have to find accommodation yourself. It's just fine. It's not a big deal. Hmm. What's the concept like? Okay. I kind of want to intentionally change it and have more exposed stuff. Let's cut this like this. What do you mean by till you get your first paycheck? No, I've got no custom scripts. To be honest, I'm not really that tech savvy. Like, I just use default Maya. It does everything I need. I don't really look too much into like custom scripts and stuff like that. Not saying there's not really good ones out there, but it also helps if I go to a new studio, I can literally just sit down and start working as well, instead of becoming too reliant on them. Yeah, they give you 2 weeks. Oh yeah, yeah, what you're saying makes sense. It depends on the company though. Like other companies like provide different relocation packages, and say for example, if you're like a supervisor or something, they might give you a month, I think. It depends on the company. Nope, you don't need no scripting at all. I've never scripted anything in my life. I mean, it definitely helps if you can script, but it's not gonna change anything really. I should have done this. I mean, any extra tools you can bring to the table are always a plus, but it's not gonna like scripting is cool, but it's not. You won't be, yeah. No one will look down on you because you can't script, because most other modelers can't either. Dog friendly. Do you mean like at the work? Like ILM Vancouver, we can bring dogs into work, which is cool. But that's not normal for most studios. Oh yeah, it helps so much. Like having dogs at work is really cool. Let's see. Thinking I might cut this into its own separate piece. Damn, it's so broken. Do I miss Australia? Yeah, it's okay. Um, I mostly miss my friends. Sorry. But missing Australia itself, it's okay. Like, I really enjoy living in Vancouver. It reminds me quite a lot of Australia, actually. So, it's not really too much of a problem. But yeah, I do miss my friends. The problem is Vancouver is so far away from Australia. Like, unfortunately, I miss a lot of friends, like weddings and stuff like that, which does suck. It takes like, if I want to go home to Australia, it takes, I don't know, like 28 hours in total of traveling, which is a bit. It's hard to take enough time off to go back that often. Yeah. Mm, actually, yeah, I'll leave that. There's more females than males. You mean in VFX? Yeah, Montreal is definitely where a lot of the work is at the moment, to be honest. Oh shit. So originally I was going to split this off into its own panel, but I thought it might be cooler if I create a panel that runs down here instead and leave this attached to the main body, which is just what I'm doing at the moment. Oh, he's talking about girls in Australia. Um, it can help. If you have no industry experience, it definitely helps. Yeah, there's not too much work in Australia, unfortunately. Mm, that's kind of true. It If you have a degree, it helps with your visa. That's a pretty significant thing. But if you've got industry experience, it's usually okay. Oops. Like I still put my advanced diploma in graphic design on my visa application, even though it doesn't really matter. Well, it doesn't matter in my career, but it definitely matters at the Canadian border. Oh shit, what do I do? Really? Yeah, there's a lot of Brazilian VFX artists here. Like in London, I met no Brazilians, but here, like everyone, especially the Gen team. There's a lot of really good Brazilian artists there. Oh shit. Cheers. Oh. Yeah, I'm pretty picky with topology. Probably too picky sometimes. ILM definitely. ILM just does the caliber of work I really like to do. Oh, why did I do that? It depends. Like Method is a smaller studio. They don't do as crazy, especially hard surface work as ILM. Ultimately, that's the main thing. I really enjoy the work. Oops. Oh shit. Yeah, timing is a very big thing, but it's also about putting yourself out there so when the timing does occur, you're in a good position to take advantage of it. Like I could have just stayed back in Australia and felt sorry for myself, and then I wouldn't have ended up at NPC. You have to put yourself into the positions to take advantage of the good timing. That's why like not giving up is a pretty fundamental thing to breaking into the industry. Mm, now what am I doing? Floating geometry. Which part are you talking about? Yeah, to be honest, if you want to be a modeler, like in the industry, a lot of the time we won't be making our own concepts. Like we're hired as modelers, so being able to concept is more of just a side benefit. But yeah, there's plenty of people that don't really enjoy concept but are really good modelers. Let's go this way. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the concept is pretty loose as far as like the information it gives us, so for paneling we can break it up how we feel like. Do you mean these not being connected? Is this what you mean? Because you don't have to actually, oh shit, what's that? Because you don't actually have to connect everything in modeling. You only have to connect the very obvious things. Oh, I see. Do you mean like physically model them together, or do you mean combine them? Oh no, you would uh, like physically modeling all this stuff together would just be extremely time consuming. And it's best to model it as it was in the real world anyway. Like if these two are separate panels, they're not going to be connected to each other because they're not the same object technically. Nah, there's no shortcut to success. But thanks, I appreciate it. You're just watching me move vertex around. Mm. Whoops. Oh yeah? Awesome. I'm glad it helps. Yeah, I figured out a lot of this stuff when I was working in the industry. I didn't really know any of this stuff about like working in pipeline until I got in. There isn't really that much information on it, I don't think. It's not good. Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing about, I guess the stream is not necessarily watching me work, but being able to ask me questions, I guess, is pretty handy. Because when I was self-teaching myself, I never really interacted with professionals or anything like that. I just kind of guessed, and that was a really unproductive way of learning. Oh yeah, awesome. I'm glad it's helping. I suppose it's just helpful, like seeing my workflow and thought process, stuff like that. Yeah, no worries, man. I don't know, I thought I'd just give it a go and see how it goes. People keep asking me for tutorials as well, but like the time it takes to do like a proper tutorial is so time consuming. This is so much more casual, it's easier, it's more interactive, it's less pressure on me. I'm just doing a personal project and you guys are chilling. My autograph? Nah, I'm not that special. I just cut panels into spaceships. Nothing crazy. It depends where you are. If you're in London, yes. But yeah, Vancouver overtime is paid for. It's usually based on this, like the city itself, not the studio. So like a studio will have an office in London and won't pay overtime, but they'll have a Vancouver office and pay the overtime. I know it's pretty unfair. Mm. Yeah, I did a decent amount of unpaid overtime in London. What I'm doing here is I'm just quickly doing like a little bevel, no, an extrude, so I can do a bevel and have a nice curve instead of manually cutting it. And then I'll just get rid of the faces. Like having too many sharp lines is just, it's not cool. It's good to balance it with curves, which is why I had all these sharp lines here and then suddenly I add a little curve in here. Just it's visually more interesting to break up just all the sharp jaggedness. Oh shit, okay. I know the concept itself is sharp here, but I kind of want to curve it here, to be honest. I think this looks better. Yo, no worries. Yeah, good luck with the VFX Union thing. I know there was something that was going on in London about it, but I don't think anything really happened with it. We can probably delete like all the faces under here. We don't really need them anymore. To be honest, I probably will. I probably will mirror it to the bottom, and I'll lattice it into the shapes. But I'm gonna change it quite a bit because I'm gonna have this sort of curve here, which is not on the top. So I'll kind of use it as a base, and I'll use lattice and soft select to warp it into positions. But I'll still modify it quite heavily. Because, I mean, it's going to take a long time to do all this work, to be honest. So this is a pretty good, cheating technique. Yeah, anything you can do to save time in VFX is definitely a good idea. Damn, it's almost 5 o'clock. Alright, how many people are still watching? $21? Okay, cool. I was originally planning on going to 5, but it's already 5 now. So, do you guys want me to keep going for like another half an hour or so? Alright, cool. I'll keep going for half an hour. This is the problem with modeling in general, like you'll spend so long doing something and then you'll look back and you've only done like a bunch of panels. Andrew's Fight Club. Fucking hell. We gotta name the stream that. Yeah, this session wasn't very aggressive this time. Yeah, there's no fighting today, it's pretty chill. The Wednesday night stream, pretty aggressive. Bunch of people. Yeah, we can. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got no music because my the OBS thing is broken for some reason, and it's not picking up desktop audio, which is kind of annoying. I'm listening to music right now, but no one else gets to hear it. Yeah, I didn't change anything. It just decided not to work today. Yep, everything I do, I'll put on my YouTube channel. The funny thing is, like, half of Wednesday's stream got muted because I played Nujabes instead, and that, copyright stuff. Even though it's not monetized, it's kind of dumb. Yeah, the guy that did L3 is a guy named Sherald Blaze. He's the guy I made Hot Rod with. He's one of the best hard surface modelers I know. Like, he really helped me, like, giving me feedback, stuff like that. Yeah, let's give a shout out to his his ArtStation page. Fuck. Oh, caps. This is the guy that made L3. Yeah, me and him made Hot Rod together. He made Barricade. His other stuff is pretty badass, personal work. He did Milano, worked on Prometheus. Yeah, this dude is legit. He's in ILM San Francisco. Oh, he also designed the T3000. Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, Gerard, definitely one of the best hard surface guys I know. Yeah, it's funny, when I was a runner, like before I was even a modeler, I found out he built the model. I didn't know who the guy was. Like, someone else in the department just told me. And then I was cleaning a kitchen, and he happened to come in, and I was just walked over to him with these like big eyes, like, "Excuse me, did you make Prometheus?" And he's like, "Yeah, I worked on Prometheus." I was like, "Oh, I have to shake your hand." And then since then, I've just hassled him non-stop about, hard surface stuff. Like, even today, I'll ask his feedback on my work. The guy is legit. It's a Sherald Blaze. I'll just write it here. Yeah, the guy's great. I'll be a Sherald Blaze. Alright. Nah, I'm not on his level. He's a completely different level to me. He's way more experienced as well. To be honest, like, talking about like things like being lucky and right timing, when I started at MPC was when he happened to leave MPC. So if he stayed at MPC, I wouldn't have done half of the work I did. Because he was, yeah, the main hard surface guy. Oh shit, why is that delete? God, look at this mess. This is awful. We gotta clean this up. Kind of in a way. It's not necessarily that I replaced him, but it's just a lot of work I got given would have probably gone to him like priority wise. Because when I was at NPC, it was my first job, and he's already a badass who's worked on such cool stuff. So he would have just been higher on the list to do the work. Like building a name for yourself definitely helps a lot for getting good work in a studio. Oh shit, I need that, don't I? Oh. Oh shit, how'd I do this? Yeah, this can be a problem with what I do a lot is I go to edge loop and delete, and then sometimes it can like wrap around your model and delete a tiny section you didn't realize. So it's good to keep an eye on that. Oops. I'm going to put my finished panels together into a group and then apply a shader to it just so I can visually see that things are actually happening. I know it's really random, but like, what's it called? Like seeing progression in your model is actually pretty important as well. Like if you keep just constantly looking at a gray thing forever, you'll kind of get bored of it. So what's this? This is... Like you want to feel good about your work and feel that things are actually progressing. Let's see. Yeah, spaceships are always fun. Damn, this one has so long to go though. This can also be handy for seeing like the shapes within the shapes, which is also good. So maybe we could do like a cut like that. Oh, but that's on a different angle. Hmm. Hmm. for this, I'd probably actually rather match that angle with my cut. I mean, you can do this if you want, but this is kind of going to annoy me. So I would rather get this and match that angle instead. I think this will work better. Even though that's not going to match that, that's alright. Well, maybe we can get this. Yeah, let's just do that. That'll be fine. Yo, how's it going? Oh yeah, it's all gonna be production mesh. I mean, if it was concept, I wouldn't be doing like any of this. Yeah, production is what we're gonna do. Cool. Alright, that's enough. Let's break this off. Yeah, it'll be fine. No one will really care anyway. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's a bit time consuming, but we'll get there eventually. You might just have to bear with the speed. Usually it's a bit faster, but talking and working at the same time is harder than you'd think. That'll be fine. So what do you mean by that? Oh yeah, that's, to be honest, this is the way I usually work. Like I'll block out, like I usually block out the main shape of the ship, and then I'll block out the inner details of the ship, and then I'll go and clean the topology up afterwards. This is pretty much my normal workflow. Yeah, it's all good. I mean, you'll see a lot of how I mean, in reality, a lot of what I'm doing is kind of just the same thing over and over. To be honest, that's what our jobs really are. There's a lot of the same thing over and over. Oh, this needs to be better though. Oh shit. Usually, like ILM is definitely one of the biggest studios in the world. They've always got some big project going on, and there's also 4 locations. Like there's Vancouver, there's London, there's San Francisco, and there's Singapore. So they've always got something going on. I think the studio that usually has the most work at once is usually probably MPC though. I think DNEG is also pretty active. But a lot of the time we're usually working on the same films. Because it's impossible for a studio to usually do all the visual effects of one film. It's just too much. Yeah, I'm probably gonna finish up in like 10 minutes, so if any last minute questions, feel free to ask them. Sometimes. Like, technically on paper, yes, but like it usually says what film we're hired for on the contract. But I mean, you just get continued on to the next project after that, if you're good at your job. Well, they need you. Let's do. Oops. Is protein actually good? It's pretty good. Especially like snowboarding and then going and getting pulled pork poutine is fucking amazing. Do they lay off a lot of people? It depends. The visual effects studio goes through a lot of like up and downs. Like we've just come out of a pretty significant down where a lot of people didn't have work. But then a lot of all the studios will let go everyone, and then all the studios will hire everyone again, like right after. Even if things look bad, there always will be more work eventually. Like there's plenty of times like good artists have been let go, not because of their abilities, but purely because there just isn't any work at the moment. And it's normal. It's something that you should be aware of if you want to go into VFX, that it it's not super stable. Yeah, like as far as my own personal concept stuff, I just hack together and kitbash and throw random shapes together and then render it. But yeah, at work we'll never do our own concepts at work. We're not hired as concept artists. Would I go to Montreal? I don't know, we might have to eventually. Like a lot of the work is leaving Vancouver and going to Montreal. But we'll cross that bridge later. That's what I'm saying, it's stable, but it's not. Like I'm aware that, like I'm literally in Vancouver because this is where the work is. Like that's simply why I never stayed in Australia. But it's cool. I mean, you get to explore cities, you get to, see what's out there in the world. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Oh yeah, no, we never really have to draw. I never draw at work. I mean, I don't even draw at home. But the only thing you really need to be able to do is like kind of what I'm doing now is like I'm taking existing design language and interpreting it. That's the biggest thing you'll probably have to worry about as a modeler in the industry is being able to problem solve like details and things within the design language that you're not given. Like we're not given what is actually behind this thing, so I get to make it up. Which that just comes through time. Like a lot of these really weird jagged shapes were very similar to like what we're doing on Guidance to the Galaxy, so making this sort of thing feels pretty, I wouldn't say natural, but I feel experienced with doing random shapes like this. Is this all good? Oops. But it comes through experience. Like no one just wakes up good at their job. It takes a lot of practice. Free seater hybrid. Nah, it's too cold in Montreal. I've only been there once during the winter for a few days. But yeah, hopefully I'll have the audio sorted out next time so we can actually have some music instead of just listening to my droning voice. Oops. I could just stay in Vancouver and not have to worry. Oops. What do I model for Hunger Games? I can show you. Once again, going to the art station. Where's Hunger Games? This one. I modeled these aircraft. These ones. They're pretty cool models, but you don't really see them that close. Like, they're as complex as what I'm doing now. Like, they've got all the panel lines modeled in. Where are they? Yeah, like they hold up this close. So all of these lines, these are all modeled in what I'm doing now. But usually you just don't see them that well. This is all CG. Even for like this thing, that's CG. Well, I guess you can see it better here, but yeah, all this stuff is all modeled in. So I modeled the cargo pods and the aircraft. This was probably the easiest show I've ever worked on in my life. Like everything just went super smooth. The VFX suit was really easy to work with. But yeah, this aircraft's really fun. It was really cool to do. Everyone at work have an art station? Everyone's got an art station, but no one actually does personal work. Like a lot of us, like a lot of people at work look on ArtStation, but not many people do personal work in film industry, to be honest. It's kind of really surprised me. Like I definitely do the most personal work of any person I know in the industry. Like me personally. Yeah, I think people just don't. I mean, I understand it though. We work really long hours. Like people just don't really want to go home and do more work. Like I have those times. Like recently, I just didn't do any personal work for like 3 months because you gotta have a break sometimes. Like this is the first personal project I've done in quite a while. Hours? We just do like maybe 9:30 to 6:30 or 9 to 6, something like that. Yeah, we can do portfolio reviews at some point. I'm gonna be really honest with them, but we can do them at some point. I've already warned people about that. Yeah, some people were subscribing to me, so I thought that could be a pretty cool thing. Like, if you're subscribed to me, I can do portfolio reviews on the stream, stuff like that. But we can talk about it more later. Blunt reviews in Andrew's Fight Club. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I'll fight you. And it won't go easy either. But it's at the end of the day, it's always just my opinion. Like, other people can completely disagree with what I say, and that's totally cool. It's not like I know everything in the world. It's always just my opinion about things. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna hop off in like 2 minutes. Any like last minute questions? Yeah, hopefully we'll have the sound fixed next time. I don't know what happened. I didn't change any settings or anything. I usually just turn it on and off. Yeah, off it goes. But yeah, we've slowly added a bit more now. Damn, it's gonna take so much. It's gonna take so long. But yeah, it's actually starting to look like an asset, which is always good. Yeah, the complexity of these panels definitely adds so much more to like time we have to spend modeling. Like if you're modeling a conventional aircraft, usually it's pretty square panels, and that's usually way faster. But yeah, it's looking pretty cool. Yo, no worries. But yeah, thanks everyone for checking in. This is always pretty fun. But yeah, I'll probably stream next Saturday around the same time, and I'll definitely like the stream that I'll definitely do is the Wednesday one, and then usually I'll try to do the Saturday one. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'll catch you guys later.